Sit. Back. Sit. Back. One. Sit. Here. Here. Back. One. Easy. Heel. Sit. Easy. Back. Get down. Get down. Sit. Come on, let's go. Heel. Sit. Easy. Heel. Sit down. Sit. Back. Sit. Let's go. Hold. Sit. Heel. Sit. Easy. Go on, get down. Hold. Drop. Heel. Sit. Heel. Back. Sit.
Thursday night live stream for Black Blizzard Retrievers and Mike Hurd. Hello, everyone. Thanks for checking out the channel and tonight's live stream. Of course, you probably know by now the month of April, it's all about junior. Junior hunt tests, training for junior, analyzing for junior, new folks getting into the sport. I mean, there's a lot of great videos online, but this is a course mentality that I've put together for you. It's a step-by-step Module 1 and Module 2. We took a good hard look at analyzing you and your dog's abilities, the red flags, things that judges are looking for. A lot of incredible, good, upfront content before we dive into the weeds on how to train for a junior and how to succeed for a junior as well. So tonight we're going to focus in on junior hunt tests and specifically why a lot of good dogs and, again, young, inexperienced handlers fail. Even when you think you're ready, okay? So if you ever felt like your dog does great at home or in the backyard or maybe even city park where you're throwing little bumpers around, and then when you get to a hunt test, you struggle, all right? So I want you to drop a comment right down here in the bottom, and let's have a conversation. Even if this is not an issue for you, let's put your experiences out there for other folks that are brand new and are watching this live stream tonight. What you struggled with and how you overcame those struggles for the junior. Again, junior is the entry-level point of American Kennel Club hunt tests. It's where everyone gets their start. It's where I got my start 38 years ago. I've made that fact very well known. So again, drop a comment down here in the chat. Let's get into some Q&A back and forth, and let's talk about a few things. And I'll come back to the chat window here in a minute. But again, Module 1, the deep dive on Module 1 is just most people misunderstand what judges are actually evaluating. I went into great detail showing you exactly what a judge's sheet looks like, how it's scored in the 4 criteria, the numbering system, how it's drawn out. And then you average all that up and you get a pass or you get a fail, and a lot of great content. So if you haven't seen those 2 modules, they're up on the channel right now. It's in a playlist, but they also have what are called courses on my YouTube channel. So I decided to throw it in the course, and you can go to that course page and you can see the first 2 videos there. But let's talk a little bit about, just the basic core requirements for a junior. It just comes down to 3 subsections. 1, obviously, is marking desire. Just going out there, get the bird and bringing it back. That's a huge part of the junior. That's it. But now you've got other factors like steadiness, line manners, kind of go into that. Style points go into that. What happens between the last holding blind and walking up to the line. And for a lot of junior folks, it can be complete chaos. It can just be one of those things that just, I want to be PC. I want to keep it clean here. So I don't want to swear, but it's a you-know-what show. Because you and your dog aren't simply ready to run. And so you got marking, you got line manners, steadiness, control, and then third is a big one in the junior you see a lot of dogs struggle with is delivery to hand. And the first 2 modules we talked about a lot of, again, analyzing you and your dog and your training. And then the module that drops on this coming Sunday is going to focus in on marking, land and water marking. And then the following Sunday is going to be on steadiness, control, and line manners. And then we're going to wrap up the month with the last and final module, which would be what Module 5 is delivery to hand. And if you go through all of these courses, these videos, they're just broken up into about 1-hour chunks. But in each 1-hour video, I break it up into like 3 or 4 brief videos. And it's a little easier to consume. You can go back to it over and over and over again. Where was I going with this? So, again, those 3 criteria for junior. I guess right off the top of my head, the thing that pops into my brain is that you see a lot of junior or entry level folks getting their first dog and getting involved in the hunt test game. They have no idea how to train. They have no idea. So you need to follow a program, period. And that's kind of where I'm hoping that this course can help you. But my biggest suggestion is, and I probably have said this in some of the course material, you got to follow a program, but you got to walk through basics training from A to Z. Once you get done with basics and you're starting to migrate into the intermediate phase of just training, period, then you might start to be ready and succeed and have a good time at the junior. Because one of the craziest, biggest things that I see 99% of the time with new folks are excited. They want to see what their dog can do. They want to have fun, and all they want is that darn ribbon. And I'm telling you, that darn ribbon at the junior level most of the time isn't worth trying to get. I know that's a bold statement, and it may shock you, and you think this guy's crazy, but I'm telling you, you actually sit down and watch. Now, a lot of you will think, oh, that's cute, or, oh, look what he did. Isn't that funny? Like, no, that is not funny. Junior dogs learn bad mistakes. And if you let that crap go on for a long period of time, you are never going to get to the senior, and you are never, ever going to get to a master. If you do, it's going to take a long time to get there, because you let your dog create bad habits. You let them get away with things that they shouldn't be getting away with, even to the point where I would pick up a dog if it was doing something so egregious at a junior. I don't care about the ribbon. I just care about laying a solid foundation in a young dog or inexperienced dog's brain on how we go to an event like this, and this is how we walk through the process. And if they do something stupid and crazy, you need to say, all right, we're not going to pass this weekend, and I need to pick the dog up, or I need to get a correction here. I need to yell at the dog. I need to do something, because I can't let him drop that bird 5 times on the way back to me, and then doesn't bring it all the way to my hand, drops it at my feet. Because if you pick that bird up off the ground, you're out. You got to learn the rules and the regulations of AKC retriever hunt tests at all 3 levels. So bad habits, and it's one of the things I preach to new people all the time. You have to learn. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know you're making that mistake. You don't know if the dog's making a mistake. You don't know if you're creating a bad habit. I get it. I've been there. But that's where material like this should help you. So always, always, always train at a higher level. And I preached that in the first 2 modules. Train at that higher level, and then step down and run. You'll be a lot more successful. The dog will not learn bad habits. The dog will have fun. You'll have fun, and you'll collect your 4 ribbons. You get your little JH title. Wonderful, right? But don't set your goals just to the junior. Don't have a low bar. Say, well, my low bar, don't set your high bar to say, I just want a junior title. Oh, come on. The junior is puppy stuff. It's just young and inexperienced. That shouldn't be your gauge if that's going to be a great hunting dog or not. Sure, it ran out there and got birds, and it came back, and maybe we got a title, but you need a dog that can run land blinds, water blinds. You need a dog that can remember multiple birds being shot if you want to go hunting. Junior is just a baby step in the overall process to having an outstanding hunting partner and gaining those higher level titles. So what actually causes a failure at the junior? A lot of judges, the last thing we want to do is fail a junior dog. We don't want to discourage people from failing at a junior hunt test, and they get all upset and don't want to come back, and they get butthurt over it, and they, well, this isn't for me. I'm not going to do this anymore. Well, I mean, if your ego is that fragile, then maybe it isn't for you. But life is all about learning from your mistakes, right? But I'm trying to help you learn from my mistakes so you don't make the same mistakes. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to give you the foundation work and make you think outside the box. So what causes failures at a junior hunt test? First and foremost, if a dog doesn't deliver to hand, you're out. You're not going to come back to the next series. You're not going to get a ribbon. And before I walk through some of these things, you know, my other goal here is to help save you money. I'm trying to save you money. Don't go to a hunt test that's 8 hours away. You spent $500 to $700 plus on fuel, food, hotels. And you go to a junior and you went out on the first bird. I know. I've been there. I used to run juniors when they would throw pigeons. And when they threw pigeons in the rain, it was almost impossible to find, especially for a young junior dog. That was a long, long time ago. So what are some of the things that will cause a failure at a junior hunt test? One, the big one, is not delivering the bird to hand. A lot of junior dogs will get to about 5 or 10 yards and spit the bird out, and then it's a dance. You're, come on, fetch it up, fetch it up, fetch it up. You know, you're backing up. You're trying to get the dog to get it, and some dogs will, some dogs won't. And why would you go to a hunt test if your dog didn't deliver to hand? Why? That's insanity. You didn't walk through basics. You didn't complete basics from A to Z. And in basics is part of force fetch, delivery to hand. The drop fetch command, I have that in several videos as well. So delivery to hand is a big one. Next, you know, breaking in any level of AKC hunt tests is a break, not a controlled break. I'm talking about a full-on break. So you signal the judge signals, the gun goes off, the kid blows, the quack, 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 shoots, and then just begins to throw, the dog takes off. And he is not stopping. That dog is hauling butt out in the field before you got your number. You're out. You have to wait for either the judge, most judges should give you a number. Like if you're dog number 5, they should give you that number. Or some dogs are so, or excuse me, some judges are so fixated on the test and making sure everything goes right and stuff that they'll forget your number and they'll just say dog. Then that's a cue. But you have to get some kind of verbal command from the judge standing behind you before you send your dog. But at the junior level, come on, you can hold on to him. Why would you bring a junior dog up to the line and just let him sit there without restraint? You can restrain the dog on a flat buckle collar. So breaking at any level is an automatic disqualification. Now, a controlled break, what's the difference between a break and a controlled break? A break is a full-on, they're gone before they were sent. A controlled break is they start to go and you stop them. And you got to be careful there because you can't just yell, "No, here, get in here." You know, now you're intimidating the dog. So it's a fine line. So that's why you either have a slip lead or you hold their flat buckle collar. Okay, enough of that. 2 is poor marking. And I'm telling you, baby dogs, they do crazy things. They can. I mean, when you're holding their collar and they hear that quack, 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 they're immediately doing this. I mean, all they want to do is, you know, let go of me, let go of me, let go of me. And they're not looking at the mark. And then you get your number, you send the dog, and the dog goes over there. Okay? Because it totally lost focus of what we're doing here. So poor marking, a dog that just gut hunts the heck out of a field way out of the area, judges are only going to tolerate so much of that before they either tell you to handle or they're going to say either pick up your dog, handle, or we're going to have the gunner help. What are those three options? Because you're probably not coming back. So it's important in training to get that dog to sit quietly, focus on the field, even through all the noise, the quacks and the booms and all the people standing out there and the winger going off. They have to sit there and watch that. So poor marking. Oh, lack of control. You'll see this at every single junior. In fact, I made an AI video of it, and it was funny when I told it. It said, junior dogs going to the line, dragging their handler to the line. And the AI literally shows the guy being dragged with his arm out, dragged to the line. It was a very funny little video clip. But it's true. Man, some of those fire-breathing dragons, you literally could put their lead on the front bumper of your truck, and they would pull the truck to the line to get their chance to run. And those dogs have an incredible amount of bird prey, and they just want to go, 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 go. And we've trained them to go. And we do force to pile, where we're actually waiting for those rare moments where they're giving you a little bit of a lack of effort, and you get on the e-collar with them and they go. Some dogs are incredibly lethargic. Just depends on the breed. And there's the ones that are in between, so. But control, going from the last holding blind to the line, is one of those crazy things. You'll hear him, and the dog is just choking because he's pulling on the lead, walking up to the line, and again, bad habits. It's one of the things I hate about people getting into it way too early. Way, way too early. And in fact, when I trained to run derby, in the derby level, you can walk the dog up to the line on lead. You can. We're talking about field trials, not hunt tests. But I will never do that. No. If my dog cannot walk from the last holding blind, walk at heel with me to the line, even in the derby, then I'm not running the derby. I'm not running the dog. Why create that bad habit? Why let them pull and choke, and they learn the excitement is, hey, I'll just have to do this for a few minutes and I'm going to get something fun. Again, bad habits. And then just the craziness that can happen on the line. It can be complete chaos when that dog is just so, eyes are bugging out of his head, and it just like, let's go, yeah. That's why, again, go through basics, start the intermediate process. See what we're talking about here. Let's see, failures. One of the biggest things, and I'll get back to delivery hand, and I'm going to talk about this in the next video that comes out on Sunday. We're going to talk about what junior dogs do in water, because that is a big topic for failure as well. Most judges will walk down to the water's edge to run. So your dog doesn't have a big, long water, come out of the water, then exit, has to walk 10, 20 yards to you, because that's the prime time for them to spit the bird out and shake. That's why you need to go through basics, and you got to be through swim by, because in swim by, you'll teach the dog not to do that as part of the basic program. But water is another big thing, and cheating around the edge, or a dog that and judges are just pinched into a small round pond. They have no choice. They got to throw a mark on the other side. Well, dogs that run all the way around, oh, that's cute. Oh, look what he did. Ah, ha, ha. No, that's not cute. No. That is a horrible, bad habit that is going to take you forever to correct. In the basic program, you should be going through a water de-cheating or cheating singles before I even think about running a junior. You don't have to run a junior when they're 6 months to a year old. No, there's no age requirement. There's just a minimum age requirement. Dogs must be at least 6 months old to run. I wish they'd make that 1 year old to run, because you should seriously take the first year of their life or first year and a half of their life and walk them through a solid basic and intermediate training program. You'll be so much farther ahead when you quickly get those 4 passes at the junior, and then you're looking at wanting to run a senior. You'll be so far ahead. All right, has anyone here had a dog do something crazy at a hunt test? I'm talking junior. Put it in the comments. What are some of the craziest things you've seen at a junior hunt test? Let's see. In Module 2, we took a deep dive. Let's see. Evaluating. And it's more evaluating. And I gave you a mental readiness, marking consistency, line manners, delivery to hand. I brushed those topics. I just touched them a little bit. And again, we're going to go into a much bigger deep dive on those topics here coming up in the next couple of modules. So insight. Confidence on test day comes from knowing, not hoping your dog is ready. And again, that's what this channel is all about. I'm going to get you to the point where you know what to expect. And then you're going to go in there and have an action plan, and you're going to commit to it. Okay, let's see. A lot of you are training alone. And again, that could be an advantage and that could be a disadvantage. But if you're training alone, it's a little harder to succeed at the hunt test game. You have to get into some kind of a group training periodically. It doesn't have to be all the time, because you have to have some kind of a simulation of what it actually is. You know, the excitement, the noise, the coming in and out of holding blinds. Your dog needs a live flyer every now and then. And that's another topic that can fail you at a hunt test, at junior, senior, or master. If your dog has never picked up a live bird, junior dogs are either going to attack it, or they're going to run out there and they see that thing's alive and it's going to scare them, and they're not going to want to pick it up. Not every live bird is dead after it's shot. I don't care what level you're at. A lot of live gunners are shooting over and unders. They get 2 shots. And if they both miss and that bird is on the ground and it's not quite dead, by the time you send the dog and it's only 40 yards, 50 yards out there, they don't have time to reload and sluice. So that can be a big, big issue for junior dogs. So I'm curious of how many of you all on the live stream tonight actually train mostly alone. Are you training all by yourself? And if you are, I do a lot of training by myself during the week. I only have a couple of hours in the morning to train, and then I have to go to work. So if you're training alone, drop some comments in the comment section and just leave some advice, because those comments are going to live on past the recording of this live stream. So you can give the new folks some context and some advice. That's, again, what this is all about. Okay, let's see. We've talked about, let's see. All right, so coming up on this Sunday's topic for the next module, Module 3, is going to be on analyzing marking. I'm going to give you some advice on line manners, marking, a little bit of delivery to hand, but we're also going to talk about water. Right now the water is just a little too chilly in Montana to get them really good and wet, but I am doing a little bit of a channel type thing, a warm water slough, etc. But again, not only does it have some infield good information on how to train for a junior dog is also going to have some classroom mentality, like how do you teach a dog to stay in a channel of water when you're throwing marks, when you're training alone, or maybe you have one or two other people. So that is a great resource to kind of get you thinking about how you need to set up your marking scenarios when you're training either alone or in a group if you want to succeed at the junior level. Great question. So again, questions to put in the chat. What are the biggest issues you're having right now? Doesn't have to be junior, just dog training in general. What's your dog doing that you wish it would stop doing? Ask that question, and we'll try and answer that here. And what's holding you back from entering a test? Okay, so a little discussion going on there. I got up 4 or 5 of you on the chat here tonight. I got a phone call this morning. Someone said they're watching the junior content on the channel, which I thought was good, right? But they said, I just got a dog. He's about 9 or 10 months old, and I want to run junior this summer with my young dog. How do you do that? And I said, well, is the dog registered? And he says, well, I got papers from the breeder. I said, okay, you probably got a puppy packet from the breeder, but did you register the dog with the American Kennel Club? And he said, no, he didn't think so. I said, it's easy. It's one of the easiest things to do these days. You can do it in about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. Just go to the akc.org and you can register your puppy as long as you got the puppy packet, and it has some basic information in there that you're going to have to put in there. But for new folks, and I didn't even think about this because I just take it for granted because I've been doing it for so long. You're going to get your AKC registration. When you do it online, you can actually print this out. So on here, you're going to have your dog's official name. It's going to be a unique name. Like, for example, my dog Radar, his unique name is Black Blizzard Nexrad. Call name is Radar. He's a Labrador Retriever. He's yellow. It's going to list the sire and the dame. It's going to have the breeder on there. It's going to have his sex, which he's a male, born on November 5th, 2014. And then the most important thing on this is the, I think they're SS or SR. He has an SR number, but he has a big, long SR number, and that's what you're going to create an account with in Entry Express. That's the only way you're going to be able to run in a AKC hunt test. You have to go through the registry, an entry registry, find the event you want to go to, find out when it opens, when it closes, get your information in Entry Express, and off you go from there. And again, most of us take that for granted because we've been doing it a long time, but I thought I'd make a point of that because there probably are some new folks that are just getting their first junior dog and they really don't know the process. So it's important that you get that from the breeder. You're going to get a puppy packet and you're going to have some information in there. There's going to be a sheet in there with some numbers and some general information that you have to take that and put it into an online form, and you'll get your AKC registration. We're about half an hour into the live stream. Of course, Charles, you got the #1 badge on there for tonight, the #1 fan, so I appreciate that. Got a couple comments from here. From him, Charles says, most of my early issues with a young dog has been going from holding blind to holding blind. It took a lot of practice and patience and, of course, trying to get that dog under control when it's excited. And you probably have seen this in some of the line manners videos that I've put out on the channel. If you haven't, there's a lot of great content there. Go back and watch those videos. But one of the big things that I teach my dogs, all of them, I never put the dog in so their nose is right up against the holding blind. That's no fun. When you're a kid and you had to go sit in the corner and put your face into the corner. I mean, that was terrible. Turn that dog around so their back is to the holding blind. So they're looking out back at the gallery, back at the parking lot. So they'll be a little calmer that way. And then they're not trying to jump over the holding blind and knock it down. So there's some good information there. And of course, in the junior content I have here, my recommendation is that every junior handler, whether you train alone or in a group, you should have at least two holding blinds. Either make them or go buy them, because you need to get that dog used to coming in and out of holding blinds, sitting there for long periods of time, being patient and calm. And that's something you can do in your backyard. It's an easy thing to do a couple times a day. And, right after they get done eating, and you let them air them out for a little bit, then go stand in the holding blind for 5 to 10 minutes at a time. Then walk to the next one and stand in there for 5 to 10 minutes, and then come out and play with them a little bit. Then walk back in there, and again, just get them used to being in that holding blind for longer periods of time. Let's see. Charles also has 90% alone, but take every chance to train in a group whenever possible, of course, because that's the simulation that you're going to get. It's going to sound like a hunt test. It's going to feel like a hunt test. The dogs don't know if it's training or if you're actually at a hunt test. Now, as they get a little older, they may figure it out, but again, you got to get them acclimated to that kind of environment, and it basically will come down to desensitizing them, and hopefully you can get a little better handle on them. And it's a great chance to learn to work on bad habits. So just a couple of you on here tonight, which is not a big deal. It's kind of days are getting longer, and people are probably out training a little bit even at this hour. But I just want to again let you know that on Sunday we're going to drop the next video in the courses on the channel. And it's going to focus on marking, especially training alone. How do you train alone? How do you set things up? And I'm going to break it down into, you should have one holding blind in the field. You should have one white diamond that they can actually look at and recognize, and make that your longest mark, because it gives them something to mark off of. And then I try and put in a well hidden, I got bumper boys. I got 2 shooters. I got 3 of them that I can hide that very easily, even in small cover, and just there's nothing out there to mark off of. So you want them to teach them how to mark off a holding blind, and not to get spooked when there's somebody actually hiding back there, because you'll see that at a junior hunt test quite a bit as well. Young dogs will run out there, they'll see someone and they get a little freaked out. Or the other thing I've seen judging a junior is that when they throw a mark out of a holding blind and that guy goes back and sits down, that dog will run to the holding blind and then jump in there with that guy. I mean, he's got a bag full of birds, right? It smells good. He's got lunch, and you got to kick the dog out of there. And so they can do weird things like that too at the junior. I've seen that numerous times. And then just having something big and bold out in the field, and in the field trial game, but even in the hunt test game, I'm wearing white 99% of the time when I'm training, because I want the dog to look back and see me in white. And I want my longer marks out in the field to be marked in some kind of a white diamond, hang a white jacket on a hanger on the holding blind, for example. So it gives them a target to look at. So when I walk up there and I tell the dog to sit, and I point them at that gun, and I mean, their eyes are going to go, they're going to like, oh, got it, I see it. That's the confidence you need to have good marking, is the fact that they recognize what a gun station is. We're going to talk about that in the video coming up on Sunday, and I'm going to get into a little bit of water work. Again, I don't have access to really good swimming water at the moment, but there's a lot of videos on the channel where I'm doing a lot of water training, and great resources there. And then the following week, we're going to get into line manners. Of course, I got lots of videos out on line manners, steadiness, control, etc. But we're going to be focused on just the basic part of that, what you're going to find at a junior level, and give you some advice there. And then again, we're going to wrap up the month with some training on how to teach your dog to deliver to hand. And a big part of that, as I said at the beginning of the video, is on basics. You got to get into a really good basic program. And if you don't know what that is, it's a step-by-step progression, where you're starting in obedience when they're really, really young. And in fact, I start when they're puppies, and I teach them that food reward thing, and I can get them to jump over all kinds of stuff just to run out there and get a little bit of kibble on a target that's 30, 40 yards away. And then they come back and I give them a little kibble in my hand. I mean, I can get them to do incredible things when they're just a couple of months old. And then from there, you're going into formal obedience. You're walking in figure eight. You're walking in a square pattern. You're walking them on the inside square, and you're walking them in the opposite direction on the outside of the square. You're stopping. You're giving a little stick pressure. You're adding a little bit of e-collar conditioning in there. And then from there, you're trying to get into some force fetch and then some formal obedience with e-collar conditioning, ladder fetch, force to a pile, directional casting, directional fetch, we like to call it. And some of the stuff is on a 20-foot lead with a choke chain. Some of it's not. And there's just all kinds of little itty bitty baby steps. So, I mean, you're just stepping through this. And by the time you get them 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 months, I mean, you've gone through the program, and you're going to end hopefully on water where you're de-cheating so they don't run around the bank. You're doing swim by. Really good stuff. And the swim by is probably the most important thing to teach a dog to hold on to something when they come out of the water and you're backing up. And you're going to ingrain that into their brain. You're going to create muscle memory that they're going to get corrected if they come out, spit the bumper or bird out, shake, and then walk to you without it picking it back up. Now, ideally in swim by, I'll step back 20, 30 yards from the edge of the water. They cannot shake. They have to deliver to me in a heel position, either in a front finish or in a heel position. I take the item, bumper or bird. They can shake, but then they immediately have to sit down right where they're at. They can't sit down and then start wandering around and play and shake off a little bit more. No, you come around, you sit down, you shake. We're going again. And you got to have that mentality of we're at work. This isn't playtime. This is work time. And it'll help you greatly in the junior part of your training. Okay, I've got 8 of you on here now. Is anybody want to talk about anything else? Doesn't have to be junior. I mean, I'll leave it up to some Q&A time. Well, you guys are thinking about putting something into the chat window. I'll give you an update on my training app. It's very, very, very close to being finished. I have to take it through a review process through Google. Right now, it's in a 48-hour, 72-hour review process. And then my 20 testers who have already had their hands on the first edition of this app have been using it and giving me bug reports. And so, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that still has to be worked out. And it's incredibly close to being finished. Right now, I'm dealing with one small hurdle, and we have a map on the app so you can draw out your marks, your tests, your blinds, your flyer stations, your retired guns, where you have your blinds, your diversion birds, where you're honoring from on the right or left side. I mean, you can make that map as detailed as you want, or you can make it as basic as you want. However, in the app world, if you're going to use your GPS location, you kind of need your permission to do that. Google and especially Apple, they just don't let people let you know where they're at. I mean, you have to give permission to do that, and it has to be very goal-oriented and why, you need to give the app your physical location. And I'm working through some of the wording and some of the legal stuff on that, and then trying to get so when you open the map, it's going to ask you a question. Do you allow or deny access to your GPS location? Because you kind of need that for it to zoom in on your location so you can start drawing things out. So I'm working through that. And again, there's slightly different criteria between Google and Android and the iPhone part of it. But the iPhone part of it is a lot more stringent than Google, but they both require, again, that part of it. So that's the final hurdle. Once that's done, I'm telling you, this thing is going to be sweet of an app. Because the other thing you're going to be able to do when you get your hands on it is that your training sessions, you can again, create the map, put your markers, your line. It's going to have a little red dotted line. It's going to tell you how far it is from where you're running from to where your marks are to where your blinds are. And then if you don't like where it's at, you can actually hold and drag and change it just a little bit. So you can move those markers around and it'll reevaluate the yardage. But then once you're done with that and you're happy with it, you can save it. And it's going to have a log history. And in that log history, you can come back to it, I don't know, weeks, months, years later, and you say, oh, yeah, I remember that. And you're going to give it a description and you're going to say what it was and what your dog did. And you're going to be able to select all the dogs that you ran on that particular setup. And then you're going to save it in the dog log history, and you're going to be able to download a PDF. And it's going to be a great, great tool to use when you're training and keep you accountable on what you've done and where you had difficulty and things that you may need to come back to. So if I set up like 6 pattern blinds, and I really, really liked where I set those up, instead of trying to remember 3 weeks later, okay, where did I put the 4th and 5th and 6th one? You know, you may remember a couple of them, but you may not remember exactly where each one of them was. You can go back into the history of the saved map feature and you can look at it. It'll take you right back down into where you were at. It's going to redraw everything out for you all over again. So you're going to have a pretty good idea of where those things are on the map. And you can repeat it or you can change it a little bit, etc. And I did add 2 sections to the app. One, you may have heard, you've seen it in the last Thursday's live stream, has an AKC section in there. So AKC Junior, AKC Senior, AKC Master. It's going to walk you through what they are, what's in the rules, drills to run, how to train for them, and it's going to kind of give you a blueprint and help you in that regard, especially if you're brand new and you're just not really sure what's involved and that kind of thing. But I've added in the HRC side of it as well. So you're going to have a toggle switch. One is for AKC and the other one is going to be for HRC. So they're both going to be in there. And of course, I have a 350, 400 video library here on this channel, and I'm going to link back to some of the videos that will tie in to some of the topics that you're going to see in there. And of course, the big thing I was really proud of is I was able to put in there, what is basics? What are the step-by-steps in basic training? What's the step-by-steps in intermediate and step-by-step in advanced? Because you may not know. And if you're an amateur trainer and you're training by yourself or in a small group, you know, you need to go through those one after another, after another, after another. And I'm going to lay out a blueprint right there for you, something to follow, and hopefully give you some guidance and make you a better dog trainer. And that's the main goal of that app. And of course, that's what the main goal of this YouTube channel is all about as well. All right, so no one's typing in on the comments here. Does anybody have any questions about the app or about the junior content coming up? And I'd love to hear from you. What topic do you want to talk about or learn more about? I can certainly create lots of different types of videos, which you have seen here on the YouTube channel. Yeah, waiting to see if anybody pipes in. So I'm glad you all have decided to stick around here on the live stream Thursdays. And again, next Thursday, we'll go a little bit deeper into the junior content, and we're going to stick with this. I think it's important for the month of April to have junior content. There are professionals that have junior courses out there, and you pay for them, obviously, but this is a free resource here on this channel, and just have to wade through each one of these courses. I believe if you click on the course, it'll actually show you a nice little fancy page, and it'll have every single video that's in there. And it's kind of a neat way of digesting those kind of videos. And each course, I break it down into about 4 or 5 individual videos, and I mean, you can watch 1 or 2 of those in that course and then come back to it and watch the rest of it, etc. It's something you can come back to over and over and over again. I've been getting a lot of great feedback from it because people don't think of dog training in a broader sense. They are too narrow-minded or too narrow focused on some things. You need to actually kind of step back and look at it in a little bigger view. All right, Charles, you're the only one piping in tonight, so you're the #1 fan on the on the YouTube channel this evening. And let's see, I did get, what do we have up to now? It's like 745, 46 subscribers. So, I mean, the channel is slowly growing week by week. So I greatly appreciate that. And again, you got videos, there's shorts, there's, again, like a live feed. You can go back and look at those play channels or those playlists as well. And again, the entire month of April here is going to be dedicated towards nothing but junior content. Let's see. Yep. So junior content. Again, breaking it down as minutely as I can to make this more digestible. And then again, this is the kind of information I wish I had almost 40 years ago, because there was absolutely nothing available, and it was all just trial and error. So hopefully this is a great resource to you. And if you find great benefit in any of these videos, please drop a comment in there. And again, it helps the YouTube algorithm get out to more people like yourselves. And the more people I can reach and help and get into the community here, and it's my goal is to try and do that. I'm giving back as much as I can. All right, guys, it's about 7:45 my time. I probably got another 2 or 3 hours of sitting here on my laptop and going through and weeding out some of the bugs on the app. And man, I hope to get that thing out here by the end of the month of April. I was hoping to get it out sooner, but it has been a really cool thing, but it's also been an incredibly aggravating endeavor. Because if you're not someone who knows code, and you use some of these AIs to help you build some of this stuff, and you just have to know how to talk to it. Otherwise, it's going to do really crazy things, and it's going to spit out some weird things. And it's like 2 steps forward, a half a step back, and it's just this constant battle back and forth. But when it's done, it's going to be a sweet application. And I hope to get that out to you both on iPhone and in the Google Play Store on Android. I know I think it's, I don't know what the ratio is, but I'm guessing it's probably 75% people have iPhones and only 25% have Android. But on the Android side, I have to have 20 testers. They have to test it for 2 weeks, and they have to get feedback, and then Google will analyze all that, and they'll decide if it's a viable product that they can put on their Play Store and people can download. So it just takes a little bit of time to do all that. And in the meantime, I'm trying to update new versions and test new versions and going from there. But again, a lot of things, a lot of things I'm trying to coordinate. And one of the biggest hurdles I had is that every time I do an update, I create a Android AAB, Android bundle. I don't know what the other A stands for, but and it wouldn't spit out it wouldn't give me a new version number. It would give me this version 1, and Google wouldn't take it. And God, it took me 2.5 weeks just to figure out how to change that version, because you can't do it through the application. You're doing it through a user interface. And finally I had to get a hold of the company and said, look, you guys got to make this easier, because I need to be able to get this out with an update. I just can't have a version 1. So they finally did, and I've been cranking out updates constantly and testing it. So I'll throw an update on the closed side and test it out on my phone and make sure it looks good. And my app testers are about to get a fresh update here soon, and I'm hoping to get that out by early next week. I was hoping to get it by the end of this week, but Google is dragging their heels on getting their testers to look at it and make it viable. But anyway, all right, guys, I've rambled on here for about an hour. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I've been having a lot of fun, but it's been a lot of work doing this. My goal is not really to make a whole lot of money at it. I'm not really trying to make money at the whole thing. I'm just trying to give back to the sport that I love, and I can't wait to get this app to you and get your feedback on the whole thing. Okay, so no one else wants to pipe in, which is fine. That's not a big deal. And good training, and hopefully all you junior folks, again, get your hands on the rule book, read that rule book, understand that rule book, go to a judge's seminar. Doesn't mean you have to be a judge. It just means you can go to a judge's seminar and learn more about it and try and jump in on your local retriever club, because that's somewhere where you can gain a lot of wealth of knowledge from folks that have been at it a long, long time. Some of the best advice I can give you. Good luck at the upcoming hunt tests in the next couple of weeks. I know in this area, they're just starting to get going in Utah and Idaho. And then in May and June, they will begin at earnest across the northern part of the country in Montana and northern Idaho and eastern Washington and et cetera. And that'll be on the circuit that I'm on. But I'm also going to be running probably more qualifyings this year than I am actual master hunt tests, because I firmly believe to train at a higher level. I want to train my dogs to run at the field trial level, and I want to see how good they are there, because that's always been my goal, to get an AFC, AFC. I mean, you can't beat those titles. I mean, that means you're a serious trainer if you can get into the field trial world. And then once you do, it is a hell of a lot easier to step down and run a master. I trust me, that's from experience. Get that QAA and QA2 and try and run some amateurs and some opens, and then step down and run a master. You know, dog's going to come out of that thinking, well, that was easy. So, all right, that's the best I have for you tonight, guys. Thanks for tuning in this Thursday evening. We'll do it all again next Thursday, so be sure to tune back in every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time now. And we'll, every time I look down here, more people are jumping in on the live stream. If you guys have, I'm about ready to call it a night, but yeah, I mean, I'm willing to stay on if you guys want me to, and if you want to bring any topic up, and I'd be more than happy to jump into any training topic and give you what I know from 38 years of experience as an amateur. But if not, give it a minute here. Well, I got Charles with the number 1 crown and a number 1. Interesting. All right, guys, I've rambled on enough. I've run out of things to say. I'll see you next Thursday. And again, we'll get a little bit deeper into the weeds on junior and junior marking. I hope you watch that video coming up on Sunday. It drops around 6 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So look for that on the YouTube channel. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.